I'm Mr. Lindstrom. This is my 6.2 redo video. The first question asks to use sketch notes and explain the shifters of demand in the Forex market. The first one is taste and preferences. If people in country A suddenly prefer buying goods from country B, demand for country B's currency increases. For example, if there's a spike in American tourism to the UK, it increases the demand for British pounds. This will cause the pound to appreciate while the US dollar depreciates. The second one is relative income levels. If a country experiences economic growth and its citizens' incomes rise, they consume more goods, including imports. For example, if US incomes increase, Americans buy more imported goods. This causes the demand for foreign currency to increase and the supply of US dollars to increase in foreign markets, causing the dollar to depreciate. The next one is relative price levels. A higher rate of inflation in one country makes its domestic goods more expensive, causing consumers to shift to cheaper imports from other countries. For example, if US inflation outpaces Mexican inflation, Americans will demand cheaper Mexican goods. This increases the demand for Mexican pesos and the supply of US dollars, leading to a stronger peso and a weaker dollar. The last shifter is relative interest rates. Capital flows to where it can earn the highest return. Higher interest rates attract foreign financial investment. For example, if the US raises interest rates relative to Europe, global investors will sell euros to buy US dollars to invest in US bonds. This increases the demand for US dollars, causing it to appreciate and increases the supply of euros. Question 2 is asking to explain how the Forex market works. The foreign exchange market is a decentralized, over-the-counter global marketplace where currencies are traded. Every transaction simultaneously demands one currency and supplies another. Exchange rates fluctuate entirely based on the global balance of supply and demand. The different type of people who demand this currency are importers and businesses who need foreign currency to purchase overseas goods or services, investors and speculators who buy currencies they believe will increase in value to generate a profit, and lastly, tourists who need local currency when traveling to a foreign country. The people that supply this currency are exporters, businesses selling goods abroad to receive foreign money and must supply it to the market in exchange for their home currency, and central banks, which are government institutions that supply their own currency, often by printing more or releasing reserves to regulate the economy or prevent their currency from becoming too strong against others. The next question says, suppose Japan attracts an increased amount of foreign funds from the European Union because people want to travel there. Using a correctly labeled graph of the Forex market in Japan, show the effect of the increase in foreign funds on the real interest rate in Japan. Firstly, you need to draw the graph of the foreign exchange market for the yen. Since Japan attracts an increased amount of foreign funds from the European Union because people want to travel there, the demand will shift to the right because European tourists need more yen to pay for hotels, food, and attractions in Japan. Because of this shift, the value of the yen appreciates relative to the euro. Because of the shift, it will also cause an increase in the supply of loanable funds, which will decrease the real interest rate in Japan. The next question says, suppose the real interest rate in Canada increases relative to that in Mexico. Using a correctly labeled graph of the Forex market for the Canadian dollar, show the effect of the change in real interest rate in Canada on the value of the Canadian dollar. So first we have to draw the graph for the Forex market and the loanable funds market. In the foreign exchange market for the Canadian dollar, the supply will shift to the left because Canadian investors are more incentivized to keep their money at home to earn the higher domestic return, meaning they will supply fewer Canadian dollars in exchange for pesos. And that would happen because the interest rates go down. This overall is going to cause the Canadian dollar to appreciate. The last question says, suppose price levels in the United States rise faster than they do in China. Using a correctly labeled graph of the Forex market for the Chinese yuan, show the effect of the change in price levels in the US on the value of the Chinese yuan. I forgot to film me drawing the graph, but it will cause an increase in demand for the yuan because American consumers and businesses find Chinese goods cheaper and more attractive, and US imports from China increase. And to buy these goods, Americans must exchange US dollars for yuan, shifting the demand curve right. The price level for the yuan will increase because of this change. This means it's going to take more US dollars to buy a single Chinese yuan.